Hello sis, it's your girl Nina and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing scary story time and smoke. So go ahead, get your blunts rolled up. If you've been here before, you know what the fuck going on. If you ain't, go ahead and subscribe and like this video because we finna be lit. We finna get into it. Okay ladies, so I pulled up 3 scary stories on Reddit and I'm gonna go ahead and read y'all all 3 of these stories. We're gonna do a little review after the stories, but we about to like this Melina. Okay y'all, so the first story is called It Wasn't a Little Girl. Ooh. Let me just get straight into reading this story. I am lighting my blunt. Y'all need to be lighting y'all's too. Okay. So, I was camping with my husband and his family at a small remote lake in New Mexico. There were about 10 people in our group and about another 6 people in the next campsite. It was nighttime and both groups were doing typical activities, making s'mores, having a few drinks, and telling stories, when we all heard what sounded like a little girl yelling out for help. Neither group had children with them, but we were all positive we were hearing a little girl and decided to search the area we heard the noises from together. There was a field behind our campsites, and we all saw a very tall, pure white figure standing maybe 100 feet away from us in the field, making noises. We all agreed this thing looked maybe 6 foot tall, skinny, and white as can be. We made our way closer to investigate, but whatever it was that we saw started backing off as we got closer, and it disappeared into the trees. All night we continued to hear the little girl calling us for help as we tried to sleep. Okay, so I'm gonna start by saying that it is not a typical activity to go to a small remote lake, have a few drinks, make s'mores, and tell scary stories. That shit is not typical for my kind. I'm sorry, but me personally, I just feel like if you're doing shit like that, you're kind of like putting yourself in a situation to see some scary shit, you know? Like, I'm gonna go with a complete mindset of somebody's gonna end up dying. Like, y'all, I watch nothing but horror movies, literally. So, like, yeah, no. I don't know. I also do want to say that I have seen a shadow man before, which is like a tall figure and it just watches you, and it scared the fuck out of me. But when I did my research, I found that a lot of people see shadow figures. Nobody really know where they come from, but they are known to watch. I have heard a theory of people saying that they think that they want to know our way of living, so they're watching to see how we do, you know, shit on Earth. Just like I heard that same thing about aliens. Like, aliens, they don't want to harm us. They want to find out how we do things, because of course we do things different than them. But I don't know, like, I've seen shadow men. They've never hurt me. Every time I see them, they're just watching and I'm on my business and they mind theirs. Next story. Okay, the next story is called The Walking Dead. Okay, so it says, I'm a psychiatric. I'm a... I'm... Y'all. This weed is good. Okay. I'm a psychiatric psychiatric Psychiatric. Okay, I think I got it. I'm a psychiatric nurse, and early in my career, I worked at a residential mental health facility. One of our residents was an elective mute, which means that he didn't, wouldn't, or couldn't talk. But there were no medical reasons as to why. He had spoke earlier in his life and in fact seemed quite normal back then, with the exception of being close to 7 feet tall. He'd been raised in the deep south and joined the military when he was 19. But one night he vanished. He was declared AWOL, and eventually he was declared missing and dead. 10 years later, a 7 foot tall man walked into a VA hospital emergency room in my part of the Midwest and said to the receptionist, "My name is Marianne Duchenne, and I've been dead for 10 years." Those were the last words he ever spoke. He was covered with dust, and he was wearing the same clothes he'd been reported to be wearing the night he vanished. His social security number had not been used, and he had no identification on his person. However, they were able to identify him, I guess via fingerprints. The family was notified, but they said they had already grieved their lost man and whomever was claiming to be him. They demanded not to be contacted again. Marianne paced all day, every day, moving his mouth that looked like talking or muttering, but no sound came out. He had an unnerving habit of throwing his head back with his mouth wide open as if he were laughing heartedly, but not even a breath could be heard. If I talked to him, he appeared to listen, periodically throwing his head back and that laughter mimicking my ways of his. Various medications were tried, but they did not affect him, either positively or negatively. Occupational therapy did nothing, because Marianne would just grin, and unless told to stay put, he'd get up and start pacing again. On my last day at that job, the last thing I saw was Marianne pacing in the parking lot, throwing his head back to laugh. Later, I wondered if all along I've been dealing with a ghost. All these years, I still don't know. And that was kind of interesting. It's just the fact for me that because he was mute, like, no one could have ever really had a conversation with him in front of her, which means he really could have been a ghost. And when she said he spoke to the receptionist and said that he was dead for 10 years, there was no response from the receptionist. So, that's kind of weird. She might have been seeing a ghost. She might be onto something. Okay, you guys, the next and last story is called The Unrest Stop. I was driving across country with my mom and sister when I was 16, and my sister was 20. It was late, but we were well rested and still alert. We were driving along an interstate and needed gas and a bathroom break. So we stopped at the only rest stop in 200 miles. There was a van full of teenagers on a road trip at the gas station as well. A small gray car was parked at the pump in front of us with two young men standing still outside of it. When we got there, everything felt wrong. We'd been on the road for days and seen many rest stops at night and never been afraid until this one. My mom and sister went inside and I stayed inside the car. I heard the teenagers say that they were creeped out and couldn't get the pump to work, and they left in a hurry. I was watching the car in front of us, and the two men had not moved at all. Not an inch. They weren't talking. They weren't on phones. They were just standing there, still. My sister and mom came running back out to the car, and when they got in, the two men slowly turned around to look at us, while not moving or pivoting the rest of their bodies. And I swear to fucking shit, we all saw the same thing. They all had eyes, dark as pitch and empty. Truly empty. Not black, not reflecting any light at all. Just a void. We sped out of there and didn't stop until we were in the next city. The worst thing about the entire experience, we couldn't find the place on any map. We knew exactly which spot on the interstate to look, and we could not find it on Google Maps or any paper map we had. We even asked locals about the creepy gas station out on that stretch of the road, and only got confused looks. We've traveled on that interstate since, and there is no rest stop. And y'all were victims of fucking the ghost station. The ghost station, like, if you get it, you get it. But yeah, that shit was kind of creepy. Because why the fuck is it not there anymore? All three of those stories were creepy, but I have to say that second one probably creeped me out the worst. Y'all let me know which one creeped y'all out the worst. I'm not gonna lie. The third one was pretty good, but that second one, I just was not expecting that ending at all. So y'all comment which story was y'all favorite. Bye. Love it when I find my